Good morning, students. Today we are going to study our third poem from our book First Line. The third poem's name is How to Tell Wild Animals. This poem is written by Caroline Wells. Caroline was born in 18 June 1862. She was an American poet and writer. She was a prolific writer and she is largely remembered for her mysterious content, children's storybook, and humorous verse. How to Tell Wild Animal is a humorous poem, and it tells us about how we can identify the wild animals if we come across them suddenly. This poem is humorous, as I said. So, this humorous poem suggests some dangerous ways to identify wild animals. So, let us read aloud, keeping our strong and regular rhythm. So, I will just give you explanation line by line. If ever you should go by chance to jungles in the east, and if there should to you advance a large and tawny beast, if he roars at you as you are dying, you will know it is the Asian lion. So in the first stanza, the poet introduces the Asian lion, the king of jungle. So the poet, she talks about the Asian lion. So she introduces the lion in this way, humorously. If ever you should go by chance, the poet, she just suggests that if ever you pass through the jungle in the east, if ever you should go by chance to jungles in the east, suppose if ever you pass through jungle by chance in the east means eastern countries of the world, Asian countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. So suppose by chance, by accident, if you go to the jungles of the eastern countries, and if there should be to advance a large tawny beast, the poet talks about that. If by chance if you go to the forest of eastern countries, and if suppose there advance, if a wild animal, a large and tawny beast a brownish yellow, orange and brown color. So suppose a wild animal whose color is brownish yellowish. If that wild animal attacks you, if he roars at you as you are dying, actually the poet has intentionally misspelled the word dying. Spelling is D-Y-I-N-G, but here to write lion, intentionally here the pronunciation is lion. So the poet is humorously, she talks about that if he roars at you as you are dying, means she wants to say, she suggests that if the lion roars at you while you are dying, the roaring of the lion is so terrible, it's so fearsome that the person with fear, he dies. So if he roars while you are dying, so how humorously the poet, she talks about that it is the characteristic of the lion that he roars, he pounds at you, and he starts roaring at you. And this roaring is so terrible that the person dies with the fear of the lion. You will know it is the Asian lion. So the roaring is the feature of the Asian lion. So the person will recognize, will identify that it is the Asian lion only by hearing the roaring. The lion attacks at you and the lion starts roaring while you are dying. That makes the recognition of the lion. Then the poet is in the second stanza. He talks about the Bengal tiger, or if sometime when roaming around, a noble wild beast greets you with black stripes on a yellow ground. Just notice, if he eats you, the simple rule may help you learn the Bengal tiger to listen. The poet in the second stanza, she introduces another beast of prey, another wild animal, the Bengal tiger. So how can you identify the Bengal tiger? Which are the characteristics through which you can identify the Bengal tiger? The poet suggests in this way. She talks about that if sometimes when you roaming around, roaming is wandering, just like in the first stanza, the poet suggests that if by chance, when you are roaming around, when you are walking, when you are wandering around in the forest of the eastern countries, a noble wild beast greets you. Noble wild beast greets you. Greets here is welcoming. So if you are wandering around the forest of the eastern jungle, you are welcomed by a noble wild beast. Here, the Bengal tiger is addressed as noble. Noble because the Bengal tiger is very impressive size, very graceful to look at. So, but it is humorous. The poet humorously describes the Bengal tiger. Actually, the tiger is not noble by heart, but the Bengal tiger differs from the other wild animals. Compared to the lion, roars at you, but the Bengal tiger, he greets you without roaring, very silently, very quietly. The Bengal tiger roams in the jungle very silently. A noble wild beast greets you. So you are welcomed by a graceful looking, the beast of prey, the wild animal, Bengal, with nest stripes on a yellow ground. Ground means background, screen. One of the characteristics of the Bengal tiger is that the Bengal tiger has a black stripes on a yellow body. Just notice if it eats you. So here the poet, she talks about how to identify the Bengal tiger. Bengal tiger has a black stripes on a yellow skin. Just like the lion has a brownish yellow color on the body, but Bengal tiger has a black stripe on a skin, on a body. Just notice if it eats you. The poets here humorously describe that just notice if you are greeted by a wild tiger, Bengal tiger, and you notice if it eats you, means you have to notice if the Bengal tiger eats you or not. And if it does eat you, then the simple rule may help you learn the Bengal tiger to discern. Discern means to identify, to make out. Here, the poet suggests that we have to notice if the Bengal tiger eats you or not. That means that Bengal tiger, if he is hungry, then the Bengal tiger eats you, and if he is not hungry, then he will not eat you. So here again, how humorously the poet Carolyn describes the Bengal tiger. That Bengal tiger only eats you if he is hungry. So how will the person notice while dying whether the Bengal tiger eats him or not? It's a very humorous way to describe. And the poet is here at the end of this stanza. She talks about a simple rule. Only it is a simple rule which may help us to learn whether it's a Bengal tiger or not. If for that we have to notice whether that wild beast of prey, wild animal, eats you or not. If he eats, then it's a Bengal tiger. If he doesn't, then it's not. So this is another humorous way to describe the beast of prey, the Bengal tiger. In the third stanza, another introduction of the wild animal. If strolling for a beast you view, whose hide with spots is peppered, as soon as he has leapt on you, you will know it is the leopard. It will no good to roar with pain. He will only lap, and lap again. So in the third stanza, another wild animal is introduced, the beast of prey, leopard. So again the poet is humorously describes. He talks about the leopard. See, just suggest that if strolling first, strolling means moving leisurely, walking leisurely. So if you are walking leisurely in the forest of the eastern countries of the world, so suppose by chance if you are moving leisurely in the forest of the eastern country, a beast you view. So while walking leisurely, while moving leisurely, you will see a beast. You means you will see, you will find a beast. Beast means an animal which kills another animal for food. So you will find a beast whose hide is spots is peppered, hide is skin. So you will find an animal, wild animal, whose skin is covered. Peppered means covered with spots. Leopard doesn't have stripes like Bengal tiger, but leopard has spots on his body. So his body is covered with the spots. Again, humorously, how humorously the poet introduces the leopard, that the characteristic of the lion is having the spots on his body. As soon as he has left on you, here also again, the poet humorously, to make rhythm in the poem, left, the spelling is misspelled, left, L-E-P-T instead of that L-E-P-T. As soon as he has left on you, you know it is the leopard. So again, one of the characteristic, the feature of leopard is that as soon as the leopard sees you, the leopard attacks you, the leopard jumps on you. That means jumps, springs on you. So the leopard attacks on you with jumping. The leopard jumps on you, and you will know it is the leopard. So this by looking at the picture of leopard jumping, leopard is a fast runner, and he will jump on you if you are sighted by him. So you will know, you will recognize that whether that wild animal is a leopard or Bengal tiger or lion by its characteristics. So if he jumps on you, then you identify that it is a leopard. It will do no good to roar with pain. Here again, the poet humorously describes that it will do no good. No good means here it is useless. Once the leopard attacks you, there is no meaning. There is no meaning of crying with pain. Here, the victim of the leopard makes useless attempt to cry of pain, because the cry of pain will not affect the leopard. The leopard will just keep on jumping on it. The leopard kill its victims for pleasure. Okay? While the tiger, as I said, the tiger, if he is hungry, then only he eats you. But the leopard kills its prey for fun. So there is no use of crying of pain, because the leopard will keep on jumping on you. The leopard will keep on attacking you until you die. So in this way, he will only lap and lap again. Again, you see the spelling of the leap is misspelled. Okay, L-E-P, lap and lap again. Here the feature, leopard is known for his jumping. The leopard will keep on jumping again and again at his prey until the prey dies. So leopard hunts for pleasure. In the next stanza, another wild animal is introduced by the poet. You can see the picture. Can you see the picture? The picture of Deer. If when you are walking around your yard, you meet a creature there who hugs you very, very hard, be sure it is a deer. If you have any doubts, I guess he will give you just one more caress. Now, where is deer found? So, deer is found in the yard where he will find the bees, honeybee. So, another way, the poet here humorously introduced the deer. If when you are walking around your yard, just like the tiger or lion, suppose by chance if you are walking around your yard where you meet a creature there, so there you will meet a creature, a beast of prey, who hugs you very, very hard. So the poet again, see, humorously introduces the bear. Bear hugs you, embraces you, hugs means embrace. So bear is a very strong, it embraces very strongly and very hardly, embraces you until you die. So if that wild animal hugs you very hard, very tightly, it holds the victim, the prey, very strongly, very tightly until his prey dies. Be sure. So if that wild animal hugs you very, very hard, then it is certainly, you should be sure that that wild animal is a bear. If you have any doubt, I guess, then the poet, see again, humorously she talks about, if you have any doubts, hesitation, if you hesitate, I guess, suppose if you are held by a deer very strongly, very tightly in his arms, and if you try to escape, so there is no meaning, there is useless to make any effort to escape because deer is not friendly hug. Here the poets very humorously talks about the friendly hugs of deer. Suppose the poet gets that if you have any doubt, any hesitation, the bear will give you just one more caress. Caress means gentle touch. Again, so as I told you that gentle touch. The bear hug is not a friendly hug. The bear holds the prey in his arm. The bear embraces the prey in his arms tightly. That the victim dies. So if you hesitate, if you try to escape, then the bear will give you one more caress. Caress means the bear will give you a gentle touch. But actually in reality, the bear doesn't give us gentle touch, but the bear will embrace you more tightly. He will embrace, he will hug more tightly. He will press his victim very tightly until that victim dies. So here again, as I told you that bear never gives a friendly hug. It will give a deathly hug. Then, though to distinguish beast of prey, a noise might nonplus. Another you see here, two pictures, hyena and crocodile. Though to distinguish beast of prey, means the poet, she just wants to say that it is very confusing to differentiate the beast of prey because different wild animals have different features. Lion, Bengal tiger, leopard, deer. So, though to distinguish a beast of prey, the wild animal, which kills another animal for food, a novice might nonplus. Novice is someone new to a job, somebody who is not familiar, is new to a job, might nonplus. Nonplus means confused. A novice might be confused to differentiate beast of prey. A novice might not be able to identify whether that wild animal is a lion or a Bengal tiger or a leopard. So it will be difficult for someone who is new to a job to identify whether that wild animal is a tiger, a lion or leopard. but it will be easy for him to identify whether the wild animal who is advancing towards him is a hyena or crocodile. So, though to distinguish beast of prey, a novice might not plus. The crocodile you always make care from the hyenas. So you can differentiate. Here the poet suggests that it is very easy for somebody who is new to a job to distinguish between crocodile and hyena. How? So you can identify, you can differentiate just like this. Hyenas come with many smiles. Again, the poet very humorously describes the hyenas. So hyenas come with a merry smiles. Means when hyenas sights his prey, when hyenas attacks his prey, hyenas advance with a merry smile. Actually, hyenas never laugh, but their faces looks like they are smiling. But here, the poet she talks about that when the hyena attacks his prey, he attacks with a smile. So hyenas come with a merry smile. But if they weep, they are crocodiles. Again, she humorously she describes how to identify whether the wild animal which attacks you is a hyena or if that wild animal smiles at you while attacking you, you can identify that he is a hyena. But if that wild animal, if the animal starts weeping, then he is a crocodile. Actually, again, it's a humorous way to introduce. Actually, crocodile doesn't weep, but when the crocodile swallows his victim, his prey, at the time the tear comes out from eyes. So again, as I told you that if someone new to a job, for him it is quite difficult. He might confuse to differentiate between the other wild animals, but it will be easy for him to differentiate whether the wild animal which attacks on him is a hyena or crocodile only by looking at if that wild animal comes with a smile on his face, then he is a hyena, and if the wild animal comes with tears in his eyes, then it's a crocodile. But actually, the hyena never smiles. Their faces look like they are smiling, and crocodile, when they swallow a victim, tears come out. They shed tears. So this is another humorous way of introducing the wild animal. Then in the last stanza, the true chameleon is small, a lizard sort of thing. He hasn't any ears at all, and not a single wing. If there is nothing on the tree, it is the chameleon, you say. So at the end of the poem, another introduction of a very strange creature. The true chameleon is small. True means the real chameleon. The real chameleon is small. Chameleon is a garden lizard, and chameleon is an expert at camouflage. Camouflage means it changes its color as per the surrounding. Chameleon is so skillful in changing its color as per surrounding to save itself from the poachers, from the hunters. So chameleon changes colors to hide itself from the poachers. It saves the lives from the poachers. So the true chameleon, a real chameleon is a small, very very small, a lizard sort of thing. So it's a sort of thing like lizard. Chameleon looks like a lizard, but it's different. Real chameleon is very small and it changes color. It is, chameleon is expert in camouflage, changes color for surrounding. This sort of thing looking like lizard, garden lizard. He hasn't any ears at all. The chameleon doesn't have ears at all, and not a single wing. A which is without any ears or without wing. It doesn't have any ears or any wing. If there is nothing on the tree, it is the chameleon, you say. As I said in the same stanza, that chameleon is expert in camouflage. So if there is nothing on the tree, suppose if you look on the tree, you find that there is nothing on the tree, but there is an existence of chameleon. Why? Because chameleon is expert in camouflage. It changes the color according to the surrounding. So you might be confused. You might think that there is nothing on the tree, but there is a chameleon, because chameleon changes color as per the surrounding. So if there is nothing on the tree, it is the chameleon. You see that there is chameleon. It is hidden from our eyes. It is invisible. So in this way, the poet Caroline Wells, she introduces the chameleon with a characteristic of changing color and without wing or without ears. Even though we find nothing on the tree, but we are sure there is a chameleon. So in this way, the poet Caroline Wells, she humorously suggests some dangerous way to identify the wild animals, the beast of prey like lion whose feature, who pounds, who roars as you are dying, the tiger who, if he is hungry, then he eats. He is a local wild animal. A leopard whose feature is leaping on the beast on the prey, a victim. The wild bear hugs, but it is not friendly hug. It's a deadly hug. He doesn't lose the hold until the person dies. And you can also, the novice or someone new to the job, he can easily differentiate the hyena and crocodile. And at last, how to differentiate the chameleon lizard, because chameleon doesn't have ears or wing, and the chameleon has that skill of changing the color easily. So here some birds are given. Ground is background, vision is identified, height is skin, pepper is third spot, gentle loving touch. So I hope you have understood this poem. Okay, thank you.